can get these great little digital ones for food that are like cheap and they work really good.
Like
I got it on Amazon.
Okay.
And yeah, just a little food scale. Kitchen scale. Yeah.
Even the digital ones? I guess they're so
Really?
popular now.
Wow.
Slid over here so I can take photos right in front of it. If you see that,
They're so much more accurate than these kind, and they cost the same, actually.
So this is going to be that little flask. And the interesting thing about making some of these pots that are altered a lot, it won't look anything like the finished piece right now. It'll just be a kind of basic cylinder to start with.
again, may I ask how much clay you start with?
This, I think, was a little over a pound, maybe a pound and a quarter.
Okay.
And I don't have a floor on this one. I opened it all the way to the wood. So all those pots that have the little feet on them, they don't have a bottom. Yeah.
Sponge on the inside.
And I've kind of gotten away from doing many sketches. I think when I was in school and after school I would sketch a lot more. Just ideas or things that I wanted to make, but the way that I figured out making these pots, sometimes when I'm coming up with a new form, instead of doing sketches, I'll just kind of get a bunch of clay weighed out and then throw different forms and kind of think of making 3D sketches. Because you'll see when I pull this off the wheel, it's going to change pretty drastically. And so I would, if I was trying to come up with a new form, I would just throw a bunch with different proportions, like height to width. And then when I alter it, kind of figure out which one was working the best, and then go back. It's kind of hard to remember that though, like once it's ovaled and altered, figure out which one works the best as far as height to width, and then go back and make some more of that one that was the most successful. I think this is a little more clay than I normally use. It's a little taller, but we'll see. Sometimes they end up being a little smaller than I want them to. It's hard to remember too, all that shrinkage. That's always turned out so much smaller. I always try to get rid of all these throwing lines, finger marks. I think the silhouette of the pot is really important. So I don't want any of these lines to distract from that. Is everybody in here throwers? Mostly throwers?
Wannabes.
But everybody works on the wheel? Yeah. It's interesting because all my pots are thrown, but this is definitely the fastest part of the process. I spend the majority of my time putting them together and altering them, and the more hand building part of it.
Are these the same tools you use at home?
Yeah. Chamois are awesome.
Kind of loud wheel, isn't it?
It's a little loud.
What?
I was thinking that too.
Good wheel. I'm gonna hurt you.
Alright, so this is gonna get ovaled a lot, and so that's one of the reasons that I throw it without a bottom. Then you can really oval it. And you can see how the proportions I was talking about, like
Beautiful.
the relationship of the height to the width totally changes. It's good to look at the pot and really see where the handles should go, but by doing that stuff already, I've established that and kind of already thought ahead a little bit to the handle. I used to make a lot of paper templates. I think I brought one for a spout, but it seems like lately I kind of know the shape that I need to cut out. I've kind of gotten away from the templates a little bit. But after making a lot of them, you kind of remember. But this is what I was talking about when I'm coming up with a new form. I'll make a bunch so that I can just start cutting them apart and figuring out what shape I need to cut out to get what I want. So for this flask, I take out a lot of clay. And I do that first cut down the middle. I don't know why, you probably could skip that, but I think it also allows me to see how symmetrical these pieces are that I'm cutting out. So the top was pretty good, but I think this one I need to cut it a little further down. And I'm also cutting this at a bevel, so it's kind of a 45. And then, so if this is the wall of the pot, they're both at a 45, and I can blend it together and like blend the clay like that.
So they're opposite of each other.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
Did you say man or damn?
No, I did not say that.
I wouldn't think so.
That is so cool. Beautiful. So cool. Wow.
Then I'll take a little bit off the other side.
So when you do the cork part, do you have to like, you know what I mean? Do you have to like custom size the corks?
Sometimes I try to get this opening to be pretty round, but yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes.
Pretty uniform and then you buy, then probably it'll just slide farther down if it's, right? Like, so you don't have to
Yeah.
custom fit it that much?
Yeah, but occasionally they won't end up totally round, and so then you kind of have to.
So cool. I can't stand it.
Wow.
That's a little bit on his pictures. So it's taken out. I love that.
So here again, it's like I have to think about that proportion, like height to width. Like I kind of wish either this was a little taller. Like with that amount of clay, I could have made it taller and skinnier. So probably the next one I make, I'll try to remember that. I want this opening to be a little skinnier, so I'm going to take a little more clay out. when you're altering this much, it's a little tricky because you have to catch the clay when it's still soft enough to really bend it around this much. But sometimes if it's too soft, it just sticks, everything sticks back to itself, or it won't hold its shape either.
Still maintaining overlapping bevels then?
Yep.
And you recut that?
Yeah.
I believe that started out as a round cylinder.
I know,
Awesome.
it doesn't look anything like
Oh my
when
goodness.
it started.
Are you recutting the bevel just so it
I
sticks
want-
better?
I wanted this neck to be a little skinnier than the opening, so I'm gonna cut a little deeper into this part right here.
That'll snug your cork
Yeah.
into it a little better.
Yeah, so now I'll go back and slip and score. And I don't use much slip, I usually just kind of use a little bit of water, especially when the pots are this wet. Just score them, put a little water on there. Kind of makes slip on the surface out of the clay that's there. I think it might be because I'm so particular about joining everything and getting rid of the seams and all of that, that I don't like a lot of slip that's gonna ooze out and get all over everything.
Is that a wire brush?
Yeah, I think it's a Kemper.
Yeah.
They're pretty handy. Try to join everything together pretty well. I like to get rid of these seams so that you have to kind of look a little closer to figure out how it's made. Things like that.
No.
So then I'll also join it on the inside.
Wow, that'd be hard to.
Yeah, well,
All the way in
the
there.
good thing is there's
Yeah.
no bottom on this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I can get in there and join this together.
Perfect.
That is so great.
Yep.
She didn't cut it out, she threw it to the bottom of the wheel.
I mean, it was beautiful, just the
Yes.
oval.
Before she went into this. And then this is a pretty nice tool to kind of push it back, push back out.
It was wrong.
That is a cool tool.
Yeah. I have a few throwing sticks. I have this other one that Jack Troy makes. That's pretty
Do you
handy.
throw with that too?
I don't throw with it. I think that's what it's intended for.
Oh. You just smooth that.
I just do this kind of stuff with it. Push
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I mean, for right. You know what I meant? Yeah, so I said take his class, he'll teach.
Do these ever come apart in the firing process?
I've never had them come apart, but I think it's because I take this time to join it so well from both sides. Occasionally I've had the feet crack. I'll show you, when I show the feet I can talk about that a little bit. And I think it's because I can't get up to the inside and join them together. And then I think those damp boxes though, they've really helped to kind of even everything out. And I haven't had as much problem with the feet cracking since I've been using those.
How big are your damp boxes?
They're just like a Tupperware size. Like that box I brought those pots in. I don't know if you, I think I might have taken it back
this
out.
plastic one?
They're just, yeah, they're that size.
Oh.
So I've been using that in the studio to cover pots. So I'll have pots on the table and then I'll just put that over top of them, upside down.
That's
I have one that's taller, cause like pitchers and the taller baskets, it's good to have one that's taller. It's hard to find them that are taller though.
You're not even sealing it with the lid or even with plaster in it, you're just covering it up overnight.
So I have a few that have plaster in the bottom, and they're awesome, but they're also, it's a little awkward putting pots in and out because you gotta, it's sitting upright and you gotta get all the pots in there. Especially bigger pots, it's awkward to get them in, and the taller one's like maybe this tall. So like to get up there, and I think I might build a short little table because a lot of times I'll put that thing on the floor when I put pots in it. But I might build a short table so I can use that taller one on it. But then like that one that doesn't have plaster, I'll put kind of finished pots or pots that I want to dry a little bit, because the plaster is what keeps it all damp. You wet the plaster down. So once the pots are finished, they don't necessarily have to go in the one with the plaster. I just put them in that one, or
Instead of covering them up.
And you find overnights long enough, or do you leave them there for several days?
it depends on the pot. If I'm still working on it, it goes in the plaster one. If it still needs a handle or these altering things to happen, I could keep it in the plaster ones for a week or more. I don't try to do that, but if I'm going away teaching, or usually once I'm firing, I kind of have everything through the making cycle. But there's been a few times where I've kept pots in there for over a week and they stay like the same consistency, which is